Frontotemporal Dementia. Frontotemporal dementia covers a range of conditions that affect the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain. These areas control behaviour, emotional responses and language. This means that people with this type of dementia often experience changes in personality and mood and struggle with language, for example, in finding the right word. This is a fairly rare form of dementia, which is more likely to affect younger people. One of the diseases that causes frontotemporal dementia includes Pick's disease. Pick's disease occurs when a protein called tau, which is also involved in Alzheimer's disease, starts to accumulate in nerve cells. It forms spherical blobs of protein, which are thought to be linked to nerve cell death. Unlike most other causes of dementia, there is often a strong family link with frontotemporal dementia. Scientists have identified genes that are linked to frontotemporal dementia, but our understanding of it is still very limited.
People who live with frontotemporal dementia, or FTD, have specific healthcare needs. This type of dementia affects the part of the brain that regulates behaviors, insights, and impulsivity. Most often, this form of dementia targets a younger age group of adults. Common issues arise showing a disinhibition and decline in intellect. This leads to FTD adults experiencing social isolation, impaired judgment, and inappropriate behavior. It is key that individuals living with dementia have access to specialized programs that cater to the social, spiritual, creative, physical, and mental health supports. This article looks specifically at the interdisciplinary structured Community Day program in Baycrest, Toronto. This program began in 1959 and serves moderately to severe cognitive impaired seniors. The team consists of nursing, social work, reaction, and program/personal support workers who provide clients and their families with comprehensive support and resources. Each client is assessed at the admission process and given a care plan specific to their needs. This plan is constantly re-evaluated by the team, the family/caregiver, and the client's needs. As a result of the early onset of frontotemporal dementia, caregiving and support from families can be a challenge. People with FTD often need 24-hour supervision, require help making decisions, and managing day-to-day activities. The burden put on families and caregivers of persons with FTD are unique compared to the other forms of dementia because FTD adults are usually younger, resulting in younger caregivers, or the needs of the caregiver are as important as the needs of the patient and are taken into account in the day program. It is important to note that the day program is intended to be a way to better the lives of both the client and the caregiver on an individual basis. The article provided 3 case studies of people with frontotemporal dementia and their experience in the Baycrest Daycare program.
Case example number 1, Mrs. A. 58 years old, has no children, has an employed husband, and has moved into a retirement-style home. Mrs. A's health is continually declining and has become increasingly more and more difficult for her husband to meet her needs, give her love and affection, and keep his job to support them financially. The day program has designed a set of care goals that fit with the couple and their needs. Mr. A felt although he knew about the disease and what it entailed, that he was not getting the proper support and was affecting him negatively. So the team implemented specific supports to assist him with the burden of care for his wife. Many nursing supports were also provided to Mrs. A to accommodate her declining health, accompanied by providing social, recreational, and other active, meaningful programs. Mr. A received numerous services that provided him with the confidence to care for both his wife and himself. Case 2, Mrs. B. 54 years old, divorced, has 2 children, and is in the care of her 80-year-old mother. Mrs. B was referred to the day program by a memory clinic, and shortly after her admission, she fell quickly to decline. Her behaviors became very disruptive, and she suffered from incontinence. Her case plan was reevaluated on a biweekly basis to meet her changing needs. Mrs. B's family and mother, who is her main caregiver, did not adhere to the recommended education, resources, and supports that the team proposed. This resulted in additional health concerns and ultimately led to placement in a long-term care facility. The effectiveness of the day program in this case was dependent on the collaboration of the caregiver on the program team. Case example 3, Mr. C. He's in his early 70s, married, is healthy, and appears to be physically fit. Mr. B's wife reached out because her husband's behavior was severely disinhibited, often very inappropriate and offensive. The team and Mrs. C worked together to provide a behavior and medication plan to regulate the behaviors. The team also worked with Mrs. C to manage her caregiver stress and prevent depression. Although the day program team offered Mr. C a place in long-term care, Mrs. C declined, and the team and Mrs. C were able to delay institutionalization by continuing to adapt and reform to Mr. C's care plan. The day program was a large success to both Mr. and Mrs. C.
Overall, the day program displays positive impacts on both clients and their families. The article identifies 4 key areas that have made the most impact. Number 1, respite for caregivers. Often the burden of care consumes the majority of time for families and caregivers. Respite gives them the necessary time for themselves. Number 2, education for families and caregivers. This is essential to being able to manage and understand the disease. It also contributes to the safety of the client, families, and their caregivers. Number 3, access, navigation, and resources. The program is easily accessed in a healthcare facility where the multidisciplinary team can direct and collaborate on the most effective method of treatment and services. Number 4, partnership. Partnership is the foundation of the day program. Staff and client work together to adjust to the constantly changing demands of the FTD client. Comprehensive information, services for the family and caregiver contribute to a healthy partnership. This is still a very new concept in FTD care, and the full impact of the program can't yet be determined. There is an interdisciplinary evaluation team that meets to revisit the goals and effectiveness of the program to keep it from gaps and to make adjustments to the program goals. Despite the many benefits that the program initially displays, further research is necessary to assess the benefits and significance of the FTD Community Day program.